If we have a function like f of x equals x cubed plus 5, and I want to identify this function, if this function is even or odd. So the only step we follow, just instead of x, we write minus x. So take any negative x, take any x, and write minus x as I'm doing now. So negative x raised to the power of 3 is negative x to the power of 3. And write 5 as it. Then, if we compare the two functions, this one and this one, they are not even. By the way, they are not even because they are not the same. Now, we will give it a shot and take negative a factor. And just to check, if we took the negative as a factor, we will get the same function or not. So I took negative as a factor. I ended up with x cubed minus 5. You know, if I ended by x cubed plus 5 and I have negative in front of this function would be odd. But we observed that we ended up with negative and a different function. It's x cubed minus 5. It's not like this one. So this function is neither even nor odd. Neither even nor odd. Okay. If I have a function like f of x and this function is cosine x, you know, from the previous year, we have studied that cosine cancels negative. So if I ask it about f of negative x, it's a cosine and write negative x. So cosine negative x, it will be cosine x. So this function is an even function because cosine cancels negative. Cosine cancels negative. And let's revise tan, cosine, and tan, and sine, cosine, and tan. You know sine, negative x, sine doesn't cancel the negative. So it will be negative sine x. So this function is what? This function is even or odd. Okay,
هو ساين كانسل الكوساين كانسل نيجاتيف او ساين مش بيتكنسل، ده احنا خدناه قبل كده صح؟
Yes, we studied it in the previous year.
تمام.
Okay. So
تمام.
sine x is negative sine x, sine negative x is the same as negative sine x. So if I have a function like f of x equals sine x, and I wanna check this function, even or odd, I wanna check if this function is even or odd. So we will find f of negative x. Okay. So f of negative x is sine negative x. I substituted instead of x minus x. So sine doesn't cancel the negative. So it will be negative sine x. We observe that they are the same. Yes, they are the same, but the difference between them and the sign written in front of sine x. So this function 100% is odd function because f of negative x equals negative f of x. Okay, Karas, what do you want?
يا مستر هو الساين والكوساين دول في الدرس اللي قبليه على طول اللي هو الدرس الثاني؟
No, we have studied sine, cosine, tan in secondary 1.
اللي هو اللي قبليه.
In the previous year, in the last year, in the last year.
تمام ماشي.
So tan, if I have a function like f of x equals 10x, okay. So 10x, I want to check this function, if this function is an even or odd. So we will find f of negative x. So instead of this x, we'll write negative x. So it will be 10 negative x. And 10 negative x, 10 doesn't cancel the negative. It will be negative 10x. So this function, as you see, f of x 10x, f of negative x is negative 10x. So this function is an odd function. Did you get it?
تمام زي الفل.
If I have a function, let's try it. This function, f of x equals x squared plus cosine x. So I want to determine which of the functions defined by the following rules is even, odd, or otherwise. So what shall we do, Lena?
هنجيب f negative x.
So we'll find f of negative x. Go on.
بعديها negative x power of 2 plus cosine negative x.
Great. What is the next step?
The next step is gonna be negative x, x plus cosine x.
X squared plus cosine x. So you ended up with what?
The same as even.
Are they the same?
Yes.
So this function, we can say simply even or odd.
Even.
Even value, even function. Now, because f of negative x is the same as f of x, so this function is even. Did you get it?
أيوة.
Okay, let's ask Yusuf. Yusuf, if I have f of x equals 3x to the power of 10x, determine the function is even or odd. Yusuf?
يوسف انا ولا يوسف هو؟
Yusuf Majid.
تمام هخلي الاكس احط مكانها نيجاتيف اكس.
So f of negative x, which will be
3
3 and
نيجاتيف اكس بار 4.
negative x raised to the power of 4. 10. 10 what?
نيجاتيف اكس.
Great. So in any x you see, instead of it, write negative x. Any x, I have x here and I have x here. So instead of this x, I wrote minus x. And instead of this x, I wrote minus x. Go on, Yusuf. f of
نيجاتيف اكس بار 4 هتبقى اكس بار 4.
So it will be this power is 8.
Cancel
So
it.
cancel the negative. It will be 3x the power.
3 اكس بار 4 و10
Multiplied by 10 negative x. It will be what?
10 نيجاتيف اكس بار.
No. 10 negative x. We will write negative in front of it. Negative 10.
مش بتاكل
Yes, it doesn't cancel. So this negative, I have a positive value and I have a negative value multiplied together. So it will be negative 3x to the power of 4. 10x. You know, Yusuf, are they the same?
بس فيهم نيجاتيف بار.
لا مش ولا.
Yusuf, are they the same? Negative x.
نفس يعني هي لو خدنا النيجاتيف فاكتور هتبقى نفس
So the negative is taken as a factor. The negative is multiplied by them. We couldn't take factor, it's times. So there is no factor. It's negative. What do you observe? The same function f of x is the same as f of negative x, but the difference between them in the sign, as you see, this is negative, and this value or this expression is the same as this expression. I don't care about it, but they are the same, but the difference between them in the sign. So f of negative x is the same as f of x, but the difference between them in the sign equals negative f of x. So this function is an even or odd? Odd. Did you get it?
Odd.
The one-to-one function, we say that the function is one-to-one function if for every element in X, this element has only one image on Y, and this image couldn't reach to by any X, like what? If we have two elements, for instance, in the domain, like this B and this C, this is the domain B and C. This in the domain B and C, both of them in the domain. If we looked at this example well, we will find that B and C, both of them, B has 2 as an image and C has 2 as an image. So we have two elements in the domain, and the two elements are having the same image. So this function is not one-to-one. This function is not one-to-one function. And if we look at this example, you will find that this 3 reached 8, 3 related with 8, and 4 connected with 9, and 7 connected with 12. So this function is one-to-one function. One-to-one function. And if we looked at this graph, as you see, I've drawn a horizontal line. And I imagine that I'm moving this horizontal line all the time, always. You will find this horizontal line cuts the curve at one point. Okay, as you see. So this function is one-to-one function. If I have something like this one, this curve, and I'm asking you now, is this function one-to-one or not? This function is not one-to-one function. Do you know why? Because if I graph this, if I draw a line, a horizontal line, as you see, this line here cuts the curve at 2 points. So this relation or this function, it's a function, by the way, but it's not one-to-one function. As you see, the horizontal line always cuts the curve at 2 points. So it's not one-to-one function, okay? If I have a function like f of x equals x cubed plus 2, and I want to check if this function is one-to-one function or not. So without graphing, we will find f of a. What is a? A is any value, any value. So instead of x, I took a. So write a cubed plus 2. And we'll find f of b. What is b? Any value in the domain. So it will be b cubed plus 2. Okay. And then we will let f of a equals f of b. Let f of a equals f of b. So a cubed plus 2 equals b cubed plus 2. What is a? What is b? They are values in the domain. I don't care about them. And I equate f of a by f of b. Then we'll cancel 2 and 2. You ended up with a cubed equals b cubed. By taking the cubic root of the two sides, we end up with a equals b. Because we ended with a equals b, that means this function is one-to-one function. Why is that? Because when we checked f of a and when we checked f of b, and when we equate them, make them equal, we ended up with, if we have two functions, if we have two y's, and I make them the same, so in this case, a must be equal to b. Because a must be equal to b, so it's one-to-one function. Because I wrote y, or I made y equal to y. Okay. If I have a function like this one, f of x equals x squared plus x. I want to check if this function is one-to-one function or not. So we'll find f of a, and we will find f of b, and after that we will make f of a equals f of b. They are the steps we follow. So f of a, it will be a squared plus a, and f of b, it will be b squared plus b. Okay, and we will write f of a equals f of b. So we'll write a squared plus a equals b squared plus b. Then to simplify them, move them to the next side. So a squared will move b squared from this side, it's b squared. So it will be minus b squared. Then we have plus a, and then we'll move this b from this side, is going to be minus b. All of them equals 0. This factorizing is difference between two squares. So it will be a minus b multiplied by a plus b plus a minus b equals 0. You know, this expression has two terms, and we have a minus b in common between them. This is a minus b, and this is a minus b. So we will take a minus b as a factor, a minus b as a factor. Okay. So we end up with a plus b plus 1. Okay, all of them equal 0. So we have two solutions. The first one is a minus b equals 0, so a equals b. And the second solution is a plus b plus 1 equals 0. So a equals what? Negative b minus 1. So we have two values for a. That means, or that gives us a sign that we might find two functions or two y's, 2 points on the y, and they are two images. They are two images, f of a and f of b. For what? For two values on x, because a at the end equals b, and a equals negative b minus 1. So you might find two values on x, and the two values on x, okay, have the same image on y, because we have two different values for a, and a is not equal to b. So this function is not one-to-one function. F of x is 5. This function is an even function. Why is that? Because if we find the value of any x and minus x, negative x, it will be the same. It will be the same. So this function is even. And if I have f of x equals x raised to the power of 4 plus x squared minus 1. So let's ask Shahd, do you with us? Shahd. Let's ask Karos. Karos, what shall we do quickly? We don't have much time.
هنعمل f minus x.
So f of negative x, okay, equals what?
Negative x power 4.
Negative x to the power of 4 plus
negative x power 2.
Then minus 1 equals what?
هتبقى ال f minus x تبقى x power 4
plus x power of 2 minus 1. So are they the same?
ايوه زي
So
يبقى
it's
even.
even. Muhammad Atif, quickly, f of x equals 3x minus 4x cubed. Muhammad Atif, do you with us?
ال f negative x equals 3 times negative x
x equals 3 times minus x
minus 4
minus
times negative minus 4 times negative x power 3.
Negative x power of 3. So it will be 3 times negative x. negative
negative 3x
3x.
plus
Okay.
plus 4x power 3.
Because it's, let's take it step by step. Negative 4 times negative x cubed, and negative times negative, it's positive, so it's 4x cubed.
يبقى هتبقى odd.
So this function, if we compared directly between f of x, compared between them and f of negative x, they are not the same. Something is different. Something strange. I have 3x and minus 2x, negative 4x and plus 4x. But if we tried to take negative as a factor, so it will be 3x
3x minus 4.
minus 4x cubed. So it will be negative f of x cross du with us.
ايوه تمام معاك.
So what do you notice?
يا مستر احنا مش هناخد الاف اكس هتبقى ايكوال نيجاتيف اف اكس.
So what do you notice? I'm asking you.
ما في الحالة دي مش هتبقى equal.
They are the same, but we have negative in front of the function. So f of negative x is the same as f of x, but we have negative in front of it. So this function is even odd.
لا odd.
Odd. Yusuf, number 4. Yusuf Mustafa.
معاكم.
X squared minus 3x plus 4. We'll find f of negative x.
ده هتبقى minus x power 2
minus x squared minus 3 times minus x plus 4.
negative x plus 4.
Great. So f of negative x equals negative x squared. It will be what?
The x squared.
X squared and negative times negative
هتبقى
plus
positive 3x
3x plus 4. Yusuf,
4.
what do you notice? Just have a look at them. Have a look at them. Are they the same? No, they are not the same. So directly look at them. If they are the same, so both of them. If both of them are the same, so the function is even. So they are different. Try to take negative.
different.
Try to take negative. So it will be negative x squared
x squared
and negative 3x and
3x,
negative 4.
negative 4.
Just have a look at them again. At this one, this function here. Have a look at this function and at this function. And try to look at them well. After taking negative as a factor, are they the same?
No.
So the function is
Odd.
neither
neither odd or
even,
neither even.
no odd.
No. تمام.
Did you get it?
تمام.